Howdy folks, I'm venerated variegated fertility, valiantly vaulting over vile vermin.
I'm Amber.
And here are more vile vermin for us to vault over, but we don't really have to vault because we can fly, because we're a butterfly and we have wings, unless this is like some kind of butterfly Olympic type thing.
Maybe it is a butterfly Olympics.
Well, let's get started. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Calling the Cops on My Uber Driver After He Took Me to His House to Show Me His Garden? This happened about an hour ago and I'm still kind of shaken up. I'm a 34-year-old male and I flew into LA this morning for a work trip. I landed around 8:30, I grabbed my bag, and then I called an Uber from LAX to my hotel in Hollywood. The driver picks me up around 9, older guy, probably in his 50s, friendly at first. He makes some small talk, asks if I'm here for business, and talks about how great the weather is. About 15 minutes in, he asks me if I like flowers, and I say sure, just being polite. Then he says that he has a beautiful flower garden at his house nearby, and I have to see it. I kind of laugh and I say, no thanks, I really just need to get to the hotel. He says it's right on the way there and it's not a big deal. I say again that I would rather go straight there. Instead, he takes a turn off the main road and starts heading into a quiet residential area. I tell him that I'm not comfortable making any stops, but he brushes it off and says something like, just trust me, it'll only take a minute. He then pulls up to a house and tells me to get out and take a quick look. At this point, I am freaked out, but I'm trying to keep things calm. So I grab my bag and I get out. But I walk to the sidewalk and I open the app to cancel the ride. As soon as he sees that I'm canceling, he starts yelling, says that I'm being ungrateful and that people don't appreciate kindness and always assume the worst. I told him that I'm not comfortable and that I'm leaving. He keeps following me in the car, slowly rolling down the street, yelling out the window, stuff like I was trying to do something nice, and this is what's wrong with people now. I ended up calling the police. The second that I got on the phone, he drove off. I walked a couple of blocks and I got a second Uber to the hotel. I reported it to Uber and I followed the police report, but now I'm wondering if I overreacted. Some people I've told are saying that it sounds like a weird but harmless thing, and maybe he was just lonely. But it didn't feel harmless to me. I just wanted to get to my hotel and not end up outside some stranger's house first thing in the morning. Am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. And regardless of this man's motives, he should not be driving Uber. If you cannot take no for an answer and take people to places they did not offer, like volunteer to go to, you're like, his job is to get OP from point A to point B, not to take a detour to his garden. Even if he is not planning on using OP to fertilize said garden, that doesn't make it any better. It's, taking OP away from his destination, delaying him, and not the things that a considerate person would do.
Yes. I mean, this sounds like a Stephen King horror movie right here.
It does, like it has
Secret Garden type of thing,
Secret
right?
Window.
Secret Window. The thing is that OP had every right to be freaked out by this.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't normal behavior for an Uber driver, right? Mm-hmm. He was kidnapping OP, plain and simple. Like, when you take somebody against their will somewhere that they don't want to be, you've kidnapped someone. I hate to not mince words like that, but I mean, this is what he's done. And he needed to be told that what he did here was wrong, mm-hmm. right? OP may have saved someone else from the same kind of fate. And maybe this guy was perfectly innocent, but we don't know. Right. We don't know how many people he's, taken and put into his garden here, right?
Right. Well, and again, even if he's not putting people into his garden, he is not fulfilling his job properly.
Yeah.
And it's not okay to take people to places they didn't sign up for, to make them late to their destinations and make them fear for their lives. None of that should be part of your Uber experience. No.
And I mean, the thing is this. Again, if OP had said yes and they went and took this detour, it would have been perfectly fine. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't have a problem with this at all. But he had to listen to his passenger when they said, no, I don't want to. No, thank you. I'm not interested. And that is a complete sentence. No is a complete sentence.
Well, that's it. Like, his clear lack of consideration for OP's needs and everything, like the sheer number of times that he did not listen to OP and following OP down the street. He has this whole series of inappropriate behaviors that are none of these are okay mm-hmm. in any professional environment, you know.
But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Cat Lady Club says, men are victims of violent crime as well. You cannot be too safe. Always listen to your inner voice. We have it for a reason. Your instincts told you that you were in danger. Always believe that, not the jerk. And Breaking Up 47 says, I wonder what fertilizer he uses for his beautiful garden. And Fuzzy Tiger 4152 says, not a jerk. He believes what he was doing was kind, but it was actually incredibly self-serving considering you told him no multiple times. I'm glad that you reported him. You can't enable behavior like this. Plus, some of the worst things have been done under the guise of kindness. And I think that person hit the nail on the head there, right? You can claim that you're doing something for someone's benefit, but if they've said no, they aren't interested in it, then you're not being kind to them.
Yeah, exactly.
And it doesn't matter how much kindness you think you've imparted onto this person by violating their will, you weren't being kind.
Right. Well, and you have to think about like the psychological, like maybe you love your garden a lot and like to show it off, but like the psychological distress you're putting someone through of like making them concerned. Why am I going to this person's garden?
Mm-hmm.
Of making them late, of making, all these kind of things. It's not kind, it is selfish.
Yeah. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Telling My Mother-in-Law that she can't take her grandson for an entire day by herself? I'm a 30-year-old female and I had a baby 5 weeks ago and live long distance from my in-laws. My mother-in-law is coming into town next week to visit/meet my baby and wants to take him all over town for an entire day without me. He is exclusively breastfed and does not take well to a bottle. He will only eat for a few seconds and then screams and looks for a breast. He has never been away from me and gets worked up and fussy when I have to leave the room for more than a few minutes. He is happy and healthy but very attached to me, which I don't think that is unreasonable for being exclusively breastfed and only 5 weeks old. Mother-in-law has told my partner multiple times that he needs to make me put the baby on a bottle so that she can take him and that I do not know what's best for the baby. This is her first grandbaby, but baby number 3 for me, so I am not new to this. They say that I'm trying to keep the baby from her and that I'm selfish for thinking that it's too early for him to be away for an entire day. No one on my side of the family has had him by themselves. He has never been anywhere without me. I am happy to let her have all the time with him that she wants as long as we are all in the same place. She is not familiar with the area and has not communicated where their hotel is at, what they will be doing and where they'll be going, or how long she wants him, just that she wants him by herself for the entire day, specifically without me. I'm getting alarm bells and red flags from the entire situation. My partner has said that I will not be with someone who would keep my baby from my mom and be so selfish, but I'm just trying to protect my infant. I told them that they can spend all the time they want with him, and I won't interfere unless he needs to eat or gets worked up. Am I the jerk? And edit. My answer is unequivocally no. She cannot take my baby anywhere. Thank you for the support. More details. They are from a Caribbean country, and there are many cultural differences as well as language barrier, so I did not see the red flags until I was very pregnant. I have only met my mother-in-law in person once a few years ago, and she was not ridiculous during that occasion. He has said many times throughout my pregnancy that he wanted the baby born in his home rather than here in the States where we live, but I made it clear that that wasn't feasible. He also has expressed that he wants to take the baby back to his home country to learn his language and culture at some point. I fear that he and mother-in-law are plotting something behind my back, but I have been told that I'm being controlling, manipulative, and dramatic, and selfish so many times in the past week that I am losing my grip. Am I actually seeing the signs, and do I need to be reacting as strongly as I am? I will not be letting my baby out of my sight, and she will be lucky to see the baby at all the way she's behaving. Am I being too overbearing, or just being a protective mother? I haven't got enough sleep for this. All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk, and definitely do not let her go anywhere with the baby alone. This is serious, not without my daughter vibes. Like, this feels like a kidnapping plot. Like, they're gonna take the baby and then just nope on over to whatever country he's from, and you won't see her again.
You know, the kid is 5 weeks old,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not uncommon for a 5-week-year-old
Mm-hmm.
to spend time with their mother, all the time with their mother or father too, right? But I mean, like, primarily with their mother, because babies that young need a lot of attention, and they need a lot of feeding and need a lot of holding. So, yeah, I mean, it isn't unreasonable at all to want to be with her child.
Yeah, well, and the fact that, they want her to be nowhere around the baby. They're not giving any information about accommodations
Mm-hmm.
or itinerary.
Mm-hmm.
OP knows literally nothing. Like, why would you hand your baby off to someone when you don't know where they're going, how long they're going to be gone for, what they're going to be doing?
So, what kind of sets things off for me are, what is there to do with a 5-year-old in an unfamiliar town all day long?
Yeah, 5 months, week old.
Yeah,
5 week old.
5 week, your 5-week baby,
Yeah.
right? There's nothing to do other than let the baby fuss and sleep, right? It's 5 weeks old. This does not add up. It doesn't add up any way, shape, or form. Doesn't matter how you look at it. You do not need a 5-week baby for a whole day out on the town.
Like, honestly, at this point in time, if I were OP, I would start looking into legal counsel to see what you can do to ensure that your baby isn't kidnapped.
Mm-hmm.
Because unfortunately, your husband has some legal rights to the child, and there's very little to stop him from grabbing the baby and noping off if his mom can't come up and steal the baby herself.
Yeah, so it doesn't give me any warm fuzzies about the situation. I think that OP absolutely needs to trust their gut here, and maybe even consider, some other more aggressive measures like divorcing their partner if this is something that they think is truly going to happen, right? It's really difficult. I hate to be cynical. I hate to be a boogeyman type thing scenario here, but it just doesn't add up to me. It just doesn't add up, plain and simple.
Mm-hmm.
But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And It Worked in My Head says, you say that he wants to take his child to his home country at some point. Perhaps he has determined that this is that point. It's vitally important that you find out if he has applied for a passport for your baby through the State Department. You can enroll them in the Children's Passport Insurance Alert Program, CPIAP. This program will alert you if your child has a pending passport application or if one has been issued. In addition, if you are concerned or have questions about possible international parental abduction and want to talk to someone, you can reach a prevention officer at 1-888-407-4747. You are not overreacting. Her demands and his comments are beyond worrisome. You can find more information here at https://travel.state.gov, content, travel, English, international, and OP replies, thank you so much for the information. Looking into it now. An Agreeable Toe 3730 says, no, establish boundaries now. You are exclusively breastfeeding. That's enough of a reason, though I could think of plenty more. Your partner is a jerk if he doesn't have your back. She can come visit your home and stay the day if you like, but she has zero business taking a 5-week-old infant from his sole source of food. Edited for a typo. Further, as I've seen OP comment, she suspects that they want to secretly get a DNA test done. Not the jerk, OP. Make arrangements to get out of that home and relationship if you can. If you feel otherwise safe, call your partner/husband out for his behavior. Don't let him gaslight you. You are not being ridiculous or a jerk. He sounds manipulative AF, and so does his mother. This is a stickier situation than your original post stated. Protect your children first. They are what matter most. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Saying That My Brother-in-Law and His Future Wife Can't Sleep in Our Bedroom While We Host Them on Their Honeymoon? I'm a 35-year-old female and my husband is a 36-year-old male, and we are fortunate enough to live in an area of the world that is very beautiful, and as a result, we are frequently visited for honeymoons. My brother-in-law, a 30-year-old male, and his soon-to-be wife, a 28-year-old female, are getting married in August and want to honeymoon in the area where my husband and I live. And they asked around a month ago if they could stay with us on their honeymoon. We agreed, they are family and also tight on funds. We are happy to help and host them. However, they asked my husband last week if they could stay in our bedroom on their honeymoon. We have a 2-bedroom home, and our guest room has an air mattress that is used for when friends and family stay over. Otherwise, it's my work/office room, hence why we don't have a typical mattress in there. My brother-in-law didn't really get into the specifics of why they didn't want the guest room house/bedroom air mattress, but the gist seemed to be we don't think that an air mattress is honeymoon appropriate. Well, when my husband asked me about it, I was honest with him and said that I wasn't comfortable with his brother and his new wife sleeping in our bed on their honeymoon, and my husband agreed with me. Apparently, us saying no to this request has caused some issue in my husband's family, particularly with his sister, who says that we should just let brother-in-law and his future wife stay in our room as it's their honeymoon and they shouldn't have to sleep on an air mattress. We love everyone in the scenario, especially brother-in-law and his future wife, and don't want to cause a rift in my family, so my husband is sort of leaning towards acquiescing to their request. However, I am not down to change my mind on this. It honestly really grosses me out because I believe that the reason that they want our bedroom is so that they can comfortably bang during their honeymoon on a regular, not air mattress. All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. It is very odd that people are pushing this on you. Like, this is your bed. If they want a private space to be intimate on the honeymoon, they can book a hotel for a night or two. But they should not be expecting to use your bed.
Yeah, I mean, I think OP is probably correct in their assessment here that the reasons why they want to use that bed. And honestly, most people aren't going to be fine with that. I think that it's one of those situations where everyone's going to have their own comfort levels with something like this, and OP is kind of creeped out and grossed out by it, and that is a perfectly acceptable reason to say no and that we don't want you sleeping in our bed. Now, what do you think is an appropriate solution to this problem?
I mean, I think that the people planning the honeymoon should, if they want to have intimate time on their vacation, plan accordingly. Like, maybe they only want to be there, like, would be okay spending a night or two at a hotel, and they can book that. But I really think it's on them to strategize and find a way to be able to enjoy the honeymoon to the fullest without taking away OP and her husband's bed.
Yeah, I mean, I think a hotel room is probably a good idea, and that maybe the family who is kind of pushing for this, they can also chip in for that as a honeymoon present or something.
Yeah.
And I mean, certainly, like, if they're low on funds and maybe they want to have a proper honeymoon, and I can understand that. Like, I think that they are certainly, looking forward to certain aspects of the honeymoon, right? And they would feel maybe, that they wouldn't get the full experience with an air mattress. But then again, I mean, like, air mattresses aren't that terrible. Good ones aren't really that bad. And so I don't think that there is, should be all that kind of concern here. And I mean, it's a delicate, tricky subject, but again, like, if they want to have a real bed and their heart is set on that, then I think a hotel room is the best compromise.
Like, OP and her husband are already being generous by letting them stay in their house for this time, and at the end of the day, it's up to them to figure out any add-ons.
Exactly. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
How did the wood cutting tool start their interrogation?
Oh, they asked a few questions.
Yeah, they said, "Let me ask you a question." And it's International Axe Throwing Day, which is kind of convenient because it's also Friday the 13th today.
Oh, very creepy. We have creepy stories, some more creepy than others, and Friday the 13th. So, yes, we did plan it that way. And I have mega mint. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy, fabulous Friday the 13th. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance. And please have it a little creepy.
Welcome to my garden. Oh, don't mind that. Those are just dog bones. What? You say that's a femur? Oh, wow.
A femur is just a human thigh bone,
a femur
right?
just happens to be a human thigh bone, right?
Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.